we're here. And welcome to the Friday Grief Chat, where we're really grieving today on the 4th of July. I'm Jill.
I'm Deb, and
We're here to hold it all.
as I am wearing some festive stuff, I have gnomes because I have gnome stuff on, and I'm gonna go out for some more coffee after our show, and you know, sometimes it feels good to be subversive and fit in.
Yep.
Yeah,
And this
and
is
I most of our um, audience, if you don't know now, Jill and I are on the same page and are grieving about yet another uh, political act that was probably 4 years in the making on how it was going to. I mean, people know how you and I feel
yep.
about what's going on. So we're not going to shop. If you don't like what we say, please feel free to turn us off. That's what I want to
There
say.
you go.
Number one. Number two, it really has been no king since 1776.
Yes.
And I am still focused, no kings. Except, of course, if I was to go to Canada, then I would have a king. I
Yes.
mean, let's be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
But in this country, that's what's going on. And there is a song from Hamilton, The World's Been Turned Upside Down, and they were talking about grief of when Hamilton's son was killed in a duel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I I feel like the world that I grew up in, I was born in 1956, and the world as I saw democracy from my point of view, uh, it was hard, but I saw more civil rights. Let me just focus on that. Maybe not so much the economy, but I saw through the decades, and I'm just one shy of 7 decades, right? And I saw people get rights, and I saw more and more uh, homeless people get rights. I saw black, or they used to be colored people, or the Negro get more rights. Not wasn't perfect, but integrating so that we're becoming more of an integrative system. Just like when I went to England, and I didn't feel that kind of weird segregation in London. I didn't. So I saw gay people get rights. I saw, I didn't feel as afraid uh, coming from the Jewish culture. I did, and religion. I did not, at least the anti Semitism that I felt in the early 60s sort of faded to the background. And then in 2016, it started to grow and grow and grow again. I saw people with various physical challenges, cerebral palsy, spina bifida. Uh, I'm, you know, autism. I saw that their opportunities not great, accessibility not great, but moving forward. And as of yesterday, I mean, I've been disappointed in this government, and sad with this government. And yesterday, it's a whole new world that, you know, I had to write my friend the other day who was born in Russia, but on his passport, because it was Kiev, it says he was born in Ukraine. And I don't know if he travels, if he'll be able to be let back into the country. I did a marriage for someone who was from Mexico and from the United States, and that was several years ago. And people are afraid for their lives, for their families. We are so I'm grieving that I'm not alone. I mean, I am grieving that whatever percentage that lost the election, and even more, I am grieving that they are living in so much fear.
Yep.
You can have the platform. I'm just, it's a loss. It's a loss of stability. It's a loss of safety. It's a loss of integrity. It's a loss of finances. It's a loss of, Maslow's hierarchy of needs are not getting met on the physical, on the bottom stable level for many people. And those that say, well, that's the way it goes, it had a change and blah blah blah. Yeah.
It's been a huge adaptation. It's been a huge, we talk a lot about waves of grief and just surfing with it. I think the sum total of just how much cruelty was involved in yesterday is personally what's making that difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can dislike someone for the beliefs they have, or dislike their beliefs more than disliking them is actually more correct. But when someone who is supposed to be a leader and a party that's got control of a country uses that to intentionally inflict purposeful harm, when they come from a place of such outlandish privilege, and I do mean outlandish, people who have never had to worry about, is there enough in the account to be able to get milk for my child? People who've never had to balance, do I leave a sick person at home to go to work and hope for the best, or do I stay home and risk my job and my living situation? People who've never had to decide, like a young man did last month and made the wrong decision to not buy an inhaler and die of asthma at 23. I can't, for the life of me, fathom that degree of cruelty. I don't understand laughing while saying that there are going to be alligators well fed, with this number of Hispanic people in this country being the number of alligators that we're going to eat, clearly indicating that that particular person who serves on the cabinet of the President of the United States wants to see every Hispanic person in this country fed to a gator. I, there are no words for that. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not a joke. And there's no way to come to terms with that level of cruelty. And there's no way for me to understand as a person of faith. And for those of you who don't know, I really am a person of faith. Um, I don't understand all the ministers and rabbis standing behind this. I don't. I don't get it. How do you think that it's okay to take away cancer research? How do you hire so many more people who are not actually law enforcement to serve in a semi law enforcement hired thug capacity? And I do love law enforcement officers. I respect them. I'm teaching a course right now in thanatology about grief on the front lines. I respect our law enforcement officers. They knocked a pregnant woman to the ground and sat on her in LA yesterday. Those are not law enforcement officers. My local police department would never have done that.
Right.
Those are untrained goons who are liking what they're doing. And when they were overheard at Dodger Stadium, where they did in fact take people, they were talking openly about how many bodies they had collected that day. They're not trying to fix things, they're trying to harm people and scare people. And it's working. I don't know about the rest of the country, but here in Southern California, whole neighborhoods are completely empty. Nobody will go outside. Businesses aren't being patronized. Pets are being left behind on the street when they grab somebody. They're breaking car windows and dragging people out of their cars. They left a child on the streets of New York without a parent. I don't understand it. And that law passed yesterday is going to increase the super rich who can't possibly spend all the money they have. And it's going to take from those of us who serve. And it has to be because none of those people have actually ever served. They're taking from veterans.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
They're taking from the VA. They're taking veterans homeless housing. And as a social worker, it's insanity. And they don't care because honestly, I don't think they care if we live or die. And that makes me so sad for my country. And I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox, but it's
no. You're speaking.
Checked in and tapped, and this is as good as it gets, folks.
You know, let me just say, both Jill's and my concerns are similar, are agreed upon, and we know we're not alone.
No.
We know there are others. Just a couple Illinois facts of I'm sure it will set a precedent here in Illinois. There are parts of Illinois that don't feel like it's represented. They're more conservative Republican ways, and so they want to be adopted or incorporated with Indiana, which is a much more conservative state. Not everybody in there, but much more. And so another friend and I were talking this morning about how there quite possibly, I mean, it's sort of like I want you to know I'm looking at it from a hospice nursing way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know at what point things will shift to a complete new way of being. It is already shifting, but right. I don't know, much like, let's say someone has some sort of acute, when acute means all of a sudden they got a disease.
Intense and rapid.
Intense and rapid. Like my friend I was taking care of on Monday, and I had my suspicions that he had a blood clot in his lung because of the changes and stuff. And I said, okay, right now I want you to do this and this. At this stage, we're going to do this. No, doctor hasn't called you back. It's okay. We're going to the ER, and this is what you're going to say. And just taking him so that he got through and can manage this disease process so quick. Democracy does not move like an acute disease, it's
No.
more insidious. So I'm just saying it's quite possible in 50 years what we had in the 70s and 80s and 90s pre COVID. Guess what? The United States might look like 3 or 4 countries. It very
Hmm.
well might.
Yeah.
And uh, I, it's sort of like Alzheimer's. It's insidious, and you lose parts of the person you love little by little. We're not dead, but we're not the same.
And we've killed Alzheimer's research in the middle of this. The NIH was cut by 50%. We're going to be
And
down to 1,000 medical researchers employed by the United States in 3 years. I
I mean, I'm sure
these
there
are
are
my people.
to fight back. I I don't think the things that we did before, our voices worked in a democratic um, system regime, but it's not being democratic. The last democratic thing we genuinely have, which might be gone in 2 years, is our voting system. And
And that's in this law too.
that, because obviously this regime does not follow any democratic protocol about going to war or declaring war, or maybe not saying it's an act of war. It's still, you have to go through a certain process before you drop bombs. And that was
Mhm.
dismissed. Just
The president yesterday in Iowa said that he hates Democrats and he's going to do everything he can to harm them and work against them. And that is not how a democracy works.
right.
You are elected, whether it's to be on the school board or the PTA or any place else, you are to represent all the people. And that's what we've lost. We've lost the we the people part. And that's what demolishes anything about the 4th of July, because we're not we the people, we're him and the cronies and the people who enjoy inflicting pain. And we have to find a way to survive this and to take care of those who need taking care of, um, and to find some grace in doing so, to use the best coping we got, the best humor we got, and to hold on tight.
So I finished up a series called, and many people have watched it, called A Discovery of Witches. And there is an oligarchy, right? A small team that is comprised of demons, witches, and vampires. Vampires, because they live the longest, right? They got top dibs. Demons were the lower echelon and all usually got run roughshod over it. Without giving away the ending, what they found is usually an oligarchy uh, with no with no democracy, even it's a democracy more through the different kings and queens happening in the UK, right? That's still, it's run by one set, but there's still more of a democracy than we have here, I feel. A kinder ruling. Maybe that's what I want to say. It's kinder. But they found out it's very self limiting and you cause more damage, and eventually the king dies. Eventually the king dies, and or the queen. And we don't know how long, but that's what happens. And then you have an opportunity, just like any crisis, you have an opportunity to change. And you don't have to change in a way, we let in their case, the science proved, I won't say what it proved, but in the show that I watched, the science proved science and facts might not feel like it's out there and winning now. It will. And, Saddam Hussein's regime had fallen, right? Stalin fell. And this one, they had privilege for our current oligarch. His wife is an immigrant.
Right.
And she had special privileges. Eventually, you see, all through history, someone in the king's family has a crisis. It will happen. It will happen. And we keep doing what we're doing, which is not buying into that consciousness. Remembering our independence comes from being kinder, from being gentler, for not making up lies, I'm having a trouble with the word love lately. That's just me, but appreciating, just like when someone dies, you have to allow yourself to feel, to move through whatever it is you need to move through. And eventually there's a tipping point when you recognize the waves of pain are just a teeny bit less. That's it. And then when there's less pain, as anybody will tell you, physical pain, emotional pain, you have more strength to go forward, to go inward, wherever it is that needs building up. That's what happens with pain. Pain is debilitating. Chaos and feeling the pain and discord from chaos is debilitating, and you can't move forward. You can't.
We need to find center in whatever way you can. And many times that's through a combination of reducing the emotional levels in your brain, resetting your brain to make sure that you are on days and nights the way you're supposed to be. Make sure, honestly, that you're hydrated. And I've been really good about that this week. Yep.
Good.
It doesn't mean you can't have coffee, because you can always have coffee.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah.
Always.
Make sure you have a couple waters for that coffee.
Right. For me, it's been a little more time in genealogy, seeing how many of my people before me got through some major, major, major nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
It's my garden. I'll be putting on a pot of tomato sauce in just a few minutes. Um, but we can also do so at Central Counseling. We serve the homeless programs in two places every week. I was there both times this week. I'm there every week for the most part. And there are people who won't even come and eat in a public setting now because they're afraid
That's
of
right.
the federal government. And so some of them drive by and we run food out to them. And some people are now taking food to those folks.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the food banks are empty because a previous executive order stopped most, if not all, of the USDA food purchases that funded food banks nationwide and that funded a lot of the school food programs. And so many programs are now scrambling for proteins. So if you have the opportunity to find a way to get some proteins to a food program, I will guarantee they will need and appreciate it. You can go serve if you don't have funds. Our Medicaid population is going to have more significant cuts, which means people in nursing homes, which are some of my people, in the work that I do, who only have $27 a month for everything extra that they could need, which includes shoes, clothing, underwear, snacks, shampoo, anything they need has to come out of that $27 a month, which is impossible. So if you have some extra clothing that's not looking raggedy, we don't want that, but something, or if you happen to see a sale, buy one, get one for you, get one for them. You don't need to know who they are. You know where the Medicaid nursing homes are. Just drop off a bag and say for whoever needs it.
Mm-hmm.
To the social worker there, they will distribute it.
Right.
Right?
Or if you're going to a thrift shop
Right.
and just if you could buy some extra slacks or stretch things or,
Moo house
here.
coats, men's casual shirts. Take them home, launder them in pretty smelling soap, and drop them off in a bag. Make it look nice.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we're going to have a lot more people who are hungry, and so their pets will be hungry. So if you find a sale on dog or cat food,
Mm-hmm. Bring it
drop
to
it
the
off at
shelter.
whatever program is donating that to people who need pet stuff.
Yes.
Let's do what we can. And if you are in an area like we are, where people are being disappeared off the streets, pets are being left behind. I posted one of those this late last night on our site here. Those pets need to be taken care of. Those homes need to be taken care of. It's very much like World War II when we interned the Japanese.
And only because of the materials, I have been to Manzanita. If you don't know, oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Daisy just came in to tell me that our squirrel is hiding the nuts I'm giving it in her dog skeleton on our patio.
Ah, that's funny. That's funny.
Humor.
That's
Right. I'm
funny.
sorry. Go ahead, Deb.
No. If you saw the pictures of alligator Alcatraz,
Yes.
I want to say two things. One, uh, it reminds me of concentration camps, of course, and it reminds me of when Japanese people were snatched out of their hut in this country. And Daryl and I have been out to one of the internment camps, Manzanita, and
Manzanar.
Pardon?
Manzanar.
Manzanar. Okay. For whatever reason, I combined a couple things. And it's just, this is even worse than that.
Yes.
Here, people, and I'll tell you why. It's made with cheaper materials.
And
This
it's
is
in a
not
swamp.
wood. It is by a swamp. They're not rooms.
They're
They
cages.
it's fencing. And so what one person gets, things that are airborne, the droplets, there is a whole outbreak. That means the people that take care of inside these atrocities also will get whatever that is.
There will
So,
be malaria outbreaks there.
oh,
There will be poisonous snakes inside. It flooded on Tuesday inside that very badly built building.
right. And they
It's
built
not really a building.
it, and the cruelty that toward anybody with any kind of illness, they will not be taken care of.
No, they won't.
We have been, and people that don't know this, over the last, I'm going to say 3 decades, there have been strides to actually help prisoners become rehabilitated. Here, they're not even getting due process.
Right.
This is much like the Crusades and other things in the 1700s. That's what it is. They just pick you up and throw you in, forget the due process.
Which is their plan. And the courts are holding them up on that. But having lived in Florida, I can tell you no sane person ever would put a tent in the Everglades. Not a million years. Because there's too many poisonous things there. And there are snakes, there are pythons that run around there. Sorry, but this is a aged poodle and he's got a collapsing trachea, so
Oh,
sometimes he coughs a little. My apologies to anyone listening online.
well,
So
actually, they thought it was me coughing because that's what I sound like.
it does sound the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this has been kind of a sad humor, grace, and grief. We've had some humor. We need to spend this week maybe finding the grace in our lives and making space for some humor that's appropriate.
When, first of all, from the very beginning, what do we talk about with any kind of grief?
Yep.
You have to take care of your physical body. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not taking care of your physical body, that's then something to worry about. Otherwise, it's normal to feel this way. If you're not feeling like your rights are being taken away, there will come a time when you do.
Right.
Everybody, everybody on this planet has someone or something close to them taken away through death, through name your loss, your
Right.
job, whatever. So the two easiest things to do: drink water. I hope it's still easy for people. I know there's places where boil orders and pour
Yeah.
water is not available. Drink water. That's number one. Number two, if your body's saying rest, rest. If you can't rest because you're that mom that has to be at work and it's not just a 40-hour a week job, you have 3 jobs, rest when you can and drink water. Take
Mm-hmm.
vitamins if your doctor says it's okay. And if you don't have access to health care, there's sneaky ways to do it. And you can write me personally, and I will make some suggestions of how to
And
get health care.
in Riverside, we do have the Riverside Free Medical Clinic. It's every other Wednesday. It's in the
Yes.
evening, and we have every conceivable kind of medical care there, including a pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's inside the walls of a church, but there's no religion involved. So there
Mm-hmm.
are those kinds of programs around, and my
Right.
suspicion is as people scramble to look for ways to do something,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing will be part of the doing. There's also a free clinic in Coachella for farm workers and folks who don't have access to care in that area as well here in California.
Champaign has clinics, free clinics and other services. And there is also in Chicago, there are plenty. Probably, I don't know what's down south, but things can be done. And
And there are people doing sliding scale, zero cost counseling across the country. I've watched the mental health community in the last 24 hours get angry, go to grief, and then move directly into we have to do something as best we can.
hmm
And the mental health community is going to get hit too because there will be job losses there as well.
oh,
But
yeah,
there are people who want to do and help, and so you will find that. So,
right,
yeah,
right. And once again, there are people, uh, there are ways to do things. And
mhm.
uh, please reach out to Jill and I, and we can do some of the research for you to find out and send you an address. I
Right.
also
And if you
know,
have resources, post them on Humor, Grace, and Grief
right,
on Facebook. It's available for posting. Post them up there.
yeah,
Oh, we have a fire in the area now. That'll be fun. Okay. California in the summertime.
yeah,
I wish everyone a safe Fourth. I hope that if there are fireworks near you, they are safe and sane, not crazy and fire prone. I hope that storms that are hitting other areas are keeping away from you. Deb, I wish you a peaceful weekend.
and we say look for the humor, look
Hmm.
for what can make you smile. If you have a TV set and access to the Golden Girls in the 80s,
Right?
wow, that the Golden Girls or any of the sitcoms from the 80s, that is
Or the
very good.
YouTube of the British guys trying different things from the United States and making people from the United States try things from the UK. Those are always good for a laugh too.
Yeah, cooking
Right? Find
shows
the
are good.
dog videos. You can even go to just open sources where they have just live feeds from all over the world. You can watch a lake in Canada and
Yeah,
see the critters walk by. It's amazing.
whatever you do take care of yourself and lend a hand when you can.
We had a kid last night tell us we need to work, all of us need to work on resetting our brains. And I think that wisdom from a 7-year-old will go a long way for all of us.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's do a reset and we'll gather again next week.
That sounds great. Bye bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Peace.
Peace.